At that moment, a cacophony exploded. I jumped and covered my ears. I did nothing against that onslaught of sound, but as quickly as it came, it faded. Soon enough, it was familiar, muffled, watery melody emanating from the far wall. Murphy gave me an accusing stare. He looked flushed. Even in the dim, "There's someone in here?" "Why do you think I called you?" My voice wavered wildly. Dispatch didn't. A deafening boom shook the walls. By my feet, a half-congealed puddle of oil and decaying wood trembled like jello. The boom came again and again and again, repeating in an almost playful rhythm. Then I realized it was matching the beat of the song. The couple wounded through my head, the people who came after you dance and sing in the hidden rooms. I shuddered and bit back a whine. Murphy radioed for backup and drew his gun. "Do you know how many are in here?" "No," I said, even as my eyes fitted to the steel bed frames and the moldy, disgusting mattresses. But it wasn't a quartet anymore. A fifth bed had joined the original four. No, not joined. It had already been there, and I'd just forgotten, misremembered. Pain pulsed through my temples, lacing like a scalpel, and I looked away. Murphy ordered, "Go back up the ladder." The bookcase juddered and tipped as if in slow motion before crashing to the floor. A door frame stood behind it, covered in thick layers of flaking paint. The door rattled, shaking loose clouds of flaky dust, and creaked open. Darkness radiated from the opening. Murphy's flashlight couldn't quite penetrate it. A million motions of dust swirled in the beam, stopping just short of the entry, like it had hit a dusty black curtain. "Sheriff's Department, come out," Murphy barked. "Hands in the air, now." Somewhere behind that shadowy curtain, two small golden pinpricks blinked to life. Murphy approached the door, gun pointed right between those yellow lights. I said, "Come the F out." The lights drifted closer, tiny will-o-wisp in the darkness. "Stop," desperation tinged from Murphy's voice. "Drop what you're holding. Get on your knees and crawl to me." The lights went out. Murphy's flashlight flickered and died, shrouding that end of the room in darkness. The only light filtered in from the kitchen overhead, dim and yellow and far too thin. A soft pitter-patter sounded near the sofa. I whirled around and caught the sight of a tottering, big-headed shadow ducking low. "Murphy," my voice issued in a shaky, sick whisper, like all those nightmares were trying to scream, but barely hiss. The yellow lights flared to life again, suddenly blinding. Murphy's form turned into a flat, dark shadow, limed in spoiled yellow gold. More pattering echoed across the room. I watched, flabbergasted, as the toddling, misshapen form darted behind Murphy. In its hands I saw the trident. "Murphy?" I wheezed. He whipped around just as the lights disappeared again. Silence fell, broken only by my own ragged breath. Then drying skittering filled the room. It gathered in the corners and spread, furtive and somehow unwholesome. I scrambled for the ladder, nearly tipping it over in the process, and hauled myself up on the dangerously weak legs. I'd barely taken a step when small, viciously strong fingers grabbed my ankle. I screamed and flailed. The hand tugged. I lost my balance and toppled to the floor. The ladder came with me, clipping my neck. Sharp, starry pain burst across my head. I lay there, stunned, as the kitchen lights came back on. Then adrenaline resurged. I kicked the ladder off, and I darted away, gagging as my hand plunged through yet another pond of rotten mush. I pulled it out, panicking as something inside pulled back. It twisted around my fingers, feeling for all the world like it was dragging me back. With a final desperate wrench, I freed my hand. A massive cluster of wet hair came with it, long and light, maybe red or dark blonde. A sweet, moldy smell erupted from the hole, halfway between a flower garden and a dumpster. I tried to flick the hair away, but only succeeded in flinging drops of oily water across the room. Murphy, I gasped. Murphy? He'd radio for backup, I reminded myself. He called for help. They'd be here any minute if I could just hold on. A small cold hand slipped into mine. I screamed again and reared back. It was a little boy with wet, filthy hair. Tear tracks streaked sallow skin. He rubbed his eye and sobbed. To my horror, I recognized him. He was a little boy from the photographs, the one who looked so uncomfortable in front of the camera. His lips trembled. Why did you come down here again? Fresh tears dripped down his face. Are you trying to come after us? A bobbing, bulbous figure rose behind him. Its outline flickered and morphed, reminding me absurdly of a cheap cartoon, like Ed, Ed, and Eddie, or whatever happened to Robert Jones. Another boom shook the walls as the eerie golden lights flared at the far end of the room. They were terrible bright, almost blinding. The little boy screamed, "Go upstairs!" The lights bobbed and drifted forward. I feverishly lifted the ladder and wedged it against the hole. I hesitated briefly, then extended a hand to the child. He shook his head. "I can't, Mommy. Go up now." But it was hard to leave him. I wondered desperately if I could climb up with one arm while carrying him in the other. I glanced at the lights again, fighting down panic as I thought of Murphy. They were hypnotically beautiful, like flames made round and gentle. "Don't look," the boy shrieked. "Go back. Don't come after us again, or we have to come after you." The misshapen little shadow stretched and splintered into a hideous multi-limbed form. Before I could react, it wrapped itself around the little boy. Together they exploded into tatters of twitchy shadow. The lights were halfway across the room now. They approached with the slow, slight certainty of a predator. I tore myself away and climbed up to the upper floor. As soon as my feet hit the floorboards, I ran outside, screaming, disoriented. Immediately set in. Full sunlight flooded my yard. Not evening, not twilight, not even sunset. Just unmistakably midday. Mariah rushed to me. "What's wrong? Oh my God, are you okay? Did you get hurt?" I babbled wildly about Murphy and the shadows and tridents and little kids, quickly devolving into hysterical sobs. Mariah helped me sit in the grass. It was warm and damp. Rich smells of greenery and smoke and freshly watered earth surrounded us and slowly soothed me. Mariah brushed my hair away from my face. "Jesus, next time I'll grab the marshmallows." "What?" She looked at me strangely. I hopped to my feet and for the first time looked around. She'd lit the barbecue. Cheap hot dogs, graham crackers, chocolate bars, and two-pronged grilling sticks were arranged nearby. I shook myself internally. "Mariah, we have to go. There's something down there. There's people and Murphy. Something killed Murphy." "What are you talking about?" Mariah asked uneasily. "Who the heck is Murphy?" I scanned her face for any sign of a joke. Pressure built in my chest, culminating in a rough, painful sob. "What?" Long story short, Mariah doesn't remember Murphy. In a stark panic, I called the sheriff, demanding to know when his backup would arrive. They had no idea what I was talking about. No record of a Matthew Murphy on the force. No call out to my house. Certainly no backup requested originating from my area. I went off on Mariah, making fun of me for demanding how she managed to forget a boyfriend before collapsing into a quivering heap. It gets worse. Mariah doesn't remember seeing the room. As far as I know, I invited her over for hot dogs and s'mores. I'd gone in to grab the marshmallows and ran out screaming like a banshee 2 minutes later. She remembers the photos in the picture book, but nothing else. No subterranean room, no music, no greasy hair, rot puddles, and no Matthew Murphy. Mariah made me go home with her. At my request, she entered my house. Holy crap, she yelled upon seeing the room under the floor, presumably for the first time, and gathered the picture book and the photos. Once I calmed her down, I left a voicemail for my realtor. Then I sat down to look at the photos again. I wish I hadn't. The one with the little girl and the boy has changed. Behind them and off to the side, peering over the bottom of the frame, is the top of an odd, lumpy head. A blurry silver sliver of a misshapen eye is just visible. Even with the poor definition, I can tell it's green, clear, unusual bright sage green, the exact same color as my eyes. I don't know what it means or if it means anything at all. I've checked the book too. The pages have shuffled again. The first couple occupies the third to last page. The second to the last page now bears the line about the people singing and dancing in the hidden rooms. And then the very last page has an illustration of a long, dark room. At the very end is an open door. Beyond that door is rich, almost fuzzy darkness, broken only by a pair of small yellow eyes. Underneath were the words, "They have a master. He's called Noon. Noon needs people who come after you. Poor Noon is grand and he is sad. Noon will eat them when they're bad. Noon plays games that have funny rules with the people who come after you." I stared at the silly watercolor picture, and transfixed by those bright yellow eyes. Then I cried for a long time. I'm more afraid than I've ever been, but I think I have to go back. The thing that lives under my house ate a cop out of existence. Heck, it ate the day and rewound the clock. What if I do have a family? What if that creature ate them too? They have to still exist somewhere. That boy called me Mom, and I have these pictures. Maybe it's a trick, but what if it's not? If they're trapped there, if even one person is trapped there, how can I abandon them? I can't. So unless something changes, I'm going back tomorrow. I don't know who's coming after me, but I guess I'm coming after them now. Wow, that was interesting. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And come back next week for a new video. I have no clue what it's going to be. I haven't done it yet. So, I guess you guys are going to be surprised just like I will be, I guess. I don't know. Just come back next week and see what it is. Sorry, my voice is so bad. I'm like dying here. I'm like sick. I don't know. It's not good. But oh well. I'll live.